Hello, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Wolt, Editor-in-Chief of Chain Drug Review and Mass Market Retailers. Welcome to our video forum. Today, our guest is Greg Farrar, Chief Executive Officer of ECRM. Greg, welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about ECRM and RangeMe. Very excited.
When COVID-19 hit a year or so ago, a little more than a year ago at this point, you guys had to quickly change your business model, which you have done very effectively. Maybe you can talk a little bit about how you were able to develop ECRM Connect.
Yeah, happy to do that. So yeah, it was the first week of March, I believe, of last year when I believe Expo West finally had to cancel because all of the major retailers had enacted travel bans that prevented their buyers from participating or traveling to their trade show. And of course, we immediately knew that was going to have the same impact on our sessions. So we really didn't hesitate. By the end of that week, we had our first virtual offering conceptualized and launched it a couple of weeks later. And the first one, at that time, nobody really knew how long this was going to last. I'm always hoping for a quick return to business as usual. So our initial offering was called Efficient Supplier Introductions, and it featured 10 suppliers presenting to a panel of 20 or 30, however many there are, interested buyers for 10 minutes at a time. And it was really designed just to provide, some immediate help to buyers and suppliers so they could stay in touch and keep us engaged with our customers. It was so well received that we decided, particularly as the COVID news got worse and worse, we decided to go ahead and convert all of our category programs to virtual as well. And so fortunately for us, we have a top-notch design and development team in-house. They worked around the clock, and it took another, 3-4 weeks for them to develop ECRM Connect. It's our own proprietary platform. It's not Zoom-based. And it was designed and built with features and functionalities that really replicated the in-person experience that our customers have grown to know and love and find so valuable. And so we did our first virtual program, I believe it was in mid-May. So what is that, 10 weeks or so right after the Expo West, or the first time we felt the impact of COVID.
What sort of reaction have you received from the retailers and suppliers who were regular attendees at your in-person shows and then all of a sudden being shifted to the virtual world?
Yeah, we've had 4 or 5 real takeaways. So we are just now this week doing our 125,000 curated meetings virtually. So we're definitely the world's leader in curating buyer and seller interaction and commerce virtually, 125,000 meetings. And we've learned a lot over that time period. So one of the things that we've seen is that it definitely has increased buyer engagement. So last year, when we rolled out, when we converted our programs to virtual, we saw a 23% increase in engagement among top buyers. So really embraced it. And that has continued. This year, we're on track to do in the very high double digits increase over last year. It was a record year. So the buyers are definitely embracing it. They like the convenience of it. They like the quality of their interactions. They can bring more people to the table. Both parties can. If they need other people in their organization to participate, they can, because there's no longer any cost associated with that. No time out of the office. Additionally, we've seen, of course, time and space limitations are now gone, and that's something that is very beneficial for us, because we're seeing, more global participation. You can be a buyer in Europe and see U.S. suppliers really easily, or in Asia, or vice versa. So that is another big benefit. And I think the quality again of the interactions has evolved. I think in some cases there might have been a tendency for the product to really dominate the conversation. Sit in the middle of the table and you'd spend a lot of time discussing the attributes of taste and smell and how heavy it was or how light it was or how it felt. And the buyer doesn't always have the product in front of them, and though they can request a sample through RangeMe with just a click of a button. But what they're telling us is that they're having higher quality conversations, they're more wider ranging, and they're focusing on discussing the rationale for a business relationship. Mm-hmm. Not just the attributes. Of course, the product has to taste good and those kinds of things and feel good and smell good. But buyers are looking for something that's going to help them grow their category. Mm-hmm. Just that. I mean, obviously it has to taste good and smell good, or else it's not going to be on the shelf. I'm certain they have a lot of products on the shelf that have, had those qualities, but they're looking for something that's going to do even better. And that involves a discussion around other things other than the product attributes itself. So yeah, I think that overall, we've increased the number of buyers, we've increased the number of retailers, which has had obviously the end result is there are more opportunities for suppliers to interact with buyers. Mm-hmm.
And Greg, do you see further opportunities to exploit the virtual format? Is this evolving, your approach to virtual meeting?
Yeah, it has. So we've, again, we started off with our efficient supplier introductions, then we converted our category programs to virtual, and now we've launched a new virtual offering called Global Market Food and Beverage. And this is a first of its scale food and beverage discovery experience. So we were limited in the in-person world with the numbers of buyers and suppliers that we could bring together for all the reasons we talked about. However, it combines all of the powerful product discovery capabilities of RangeMe with ECRM Connect. And it allows buyers and suppliers from all over the world to get together. So right now, the registration process is underway. We're getting great response from buyers and suppliers from around the world. Of course, the biggest chunk is coming from the US, but we have buyers from 21 countries. We have suppliers from 17 countries, and we still are underway, and we expect that to that diversity in the number to grow. Mm-hmm. What's really neat about it is that this will be a 24-hour-a-day kind of thing. Wow. So depending on where the buyer is going to invite suppliers to meet with them, presumably based on their local time. Mm-hmm. So if you're a buyer in Asia, you'll be meeting with a supplier in San Francisco or in Kansas or wherever they're located mm-hmm. at their time. And so it'll be really neat to see how it plays out. We're very, very excited about it.
You mentioned RangeMe. Maybe you could just briefly tell us what that is and how it's helped your business overall. And then also the role it's going to play in this specific show, the Global Food Beverage Show. Yeah.
So, so first of all, let me just take a step back and talk about what ECRM is about. So we're the leading provider of business process solutions, specifically category management support services. And we serve buyers from food, drug, mass, specialty retail, food service operations, hospital systems, and we also serve the suppliers of consumer product goods, general merchandise, food service products, some hospital supplies and pharmaceuticals. So our mission is to make their buying and selling processes more efficient and effective. And so we have a variety of services and solutions that we offer. And the common thread that runs through all of them is that we understand what the buyer's specific requirements are and what their objectives are for their process. And then we match them with the products and capabilities of suppliers. That's the thread that runs through everything that we do at ECRM, including RangeMe. So RangeMe is the leading product discovery. It's an online product discovery platform. It has over 200,000 suppliers, over 1 million products, over 10,000 buyers. and it gives buyers the opportunity to use RangeMe's extensive search and filtering capabilities to find that needle in a stack of needles that is hiding in that 200,000 suppliers.
Am I right that with this show, you're going to build synergies between ECRM and RangeMe in a way that you haven't before, or not to this degree anyway?
Yeah, so Jeff, we don't refer to them as events or shows, because what we are is that we provide that solution. We're business process. The face-to-face component is one part of that process.
Mm-hmm.
We take, again, remember the thread that runs through all of our services and solutions, where we're helping the buyer match their requirements and objectives with the supplier's products and capabilities. So it's a process that underlies this. It's not like a trade show where buyers and suppliers are gathered under one roof and really left to their own devices to find each other, often by serendipity. Here, we help them. We provide them the ability to buyers to curate who they speak with on their own, or we have our client success managers. We have a big team of client success managers who will will hold the hand of both buyers and suppliers. If they're participating in one of our category programs, they will handhold them. It's very high touch, and it's really a premium offering whereby they walk them through that process of connecting. And then we bring them together face to face, and they can determine how they follow up. In this case, it's going to be a little bit different in that the buyers are going to have they're in complete control. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be as high touch as one of our category programs. Mm-hmm. The RangeMe has all of these great filtering and search capabilities. The buyers will, during a couple of week period, they'll go in, they'll search the database or the curated group of suppliers who have registered to participate in our global market. And then from there, with a click of a button, they'll ask for a meeting. Mm-hmm. And then the supplier will receive that request, and the supplier will then be able to go into that buyer's schedule that they've put together, and the buyers can determine how long they want to participate in this. They could do it for an hour. They could do it for all 4 days. It's local time. And then suppliers can identify the meeting slot that they would like to have, and then fill that out. And then all of that occurs in RangeMe. And then at the end of our discovery period, all of that, the output of that will be these self-curated meeting schedules between buyers and suppliers that then will go to ECRM Connect, where the meetings will be facilitated by ECRM Connect. Mm-hmm. Face-to-face, they're live. It's not a virtual trade show. The word virtual has come to mean a lot of things over the last year. It's not a virtual trade show. It's not a product directory. It's not heavy on, it's not just content online. It's serious business. It's about buyers and sellers getting together in a way that's very, very targeted.
How do you see now that COVID appears to be finally winding down and hopefully will be a thing of the past before too much longer? Yeah. How do you see your programs and other industry events evolving going forward? I guess combining the face-to-face interaction that we used to rely on with the new virtual digital capabilities that you and others have developed.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that hasn't been adjudicated yet. People haven't had to make a choice. Are they going to go back to the way it was, or have their processes been changed forever? Mm-hmm. People adapted. Buyers and sellers both adapted to this, to the lack of in-person opportunities. Everybody's working remotely. They're not in the office. They're not hosting suppliers in their offices. They're not going to industry events. So they all adapted, and a good number of them have chosen our virtual offerings and RangeMe as their new process. They've adopted that as their new process. I don't think, certainly face-to-face is not going away, and we will have the capabilities to do things online, virtually, and in person, depending on what our customers want. So what they want, we'll give it to them and help them the way they want to be helped. But I do think that in person, the role of in person is going to change. It's going to be the first necessarily interaction, I believe, between buyers and suppliers. I think, the feedback that we're getting from our buyers is that they're going to have their first meeting virtually. Buyers are very, very busy. It's hard for them to know who they should meet with, what our tools are for. So they can use our tools, they can use RangeMe, and then have a virtual interaction before they decide if they want to meet face-to-face or in person, rather. It is face-to-face, but not in person. So I don't think that's going to change. As far as, I think that people have discovered that virtual and what we offer gives them the ability. It's not just the only option they had for many months. It's now, I think they see it's clear, it's the better option, because you can pick and choose with laser precision who you meet with. From a supplier's point of view, it helps them connect with buyers who are actually interested in their products and their capabilities. Guesswork out for them as well. So I think that virtual is here to stay. There's obviously a demonstrated preference among buyers for virtual that is going to persist beyond COVID. And I think, again, we're ready to go in any direction based on our customers' preferences.
As I hear you talk, it seems like the future may be fewer but more meaningful face-to-face interactions. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, well, I think so. And I think that, people who are attending trade shows or industry events, they can use, our tools to see who they want to meet with and have that first virtual interaction if they go to a trade show. So I think that that's a fair way to think about it.
Okay. A couple of final questions for you. Obviously, you and your team at ECRM interact with retailers and suppliers on an ongoing basis. Have you seen a change in the way they relate to one another as a result of COVID and the shift to digital?
Again, we're having more, because we're having more retailers, more buyers, there have been just an enormous amount of opportunities for suppliers to connect with buyers virtually. So I think that's that's one definite change that we've seen. Again, the change in the elimination of geographic boundaries. So now it's easier to explore going overseas or looking for products in the US that might be the next thing, the next trend in Europe or Asia. Targeted opportunities. So we've always provided retailers the ability to do something very targeted around, in terms of sourcing, if they're looking for something very, very specific, whether it be diversity or a particular product category or a particular theme or concept made in the United States or, something like that, or any sort of certification, gluten-free, whatever the case is. But this, the virtual has given us the ability to do that even more so, more nimbly. And we've seen a lot of demand among retailers for that. So we're helping a lot of retailers in a very specific way, in a very targeted way. And that's been a change, I think, in the way that retailers and suppliers have been connecting. Again, numbers of people that can participate. You can bring in lots of other people if you're a retailer, people who normally wouldn't travel. Same on the supplier side. So we're broadening the number of touch points between buyers and suppliers. And then again, just focusing on what counts. Not so much, of course, the product is important. It's going to have to taste good. It's going to have to, do what it says. But, that can be a very subjective thing. I'm certain that, buyers don't consider themselves in all cases to be the sole decision maker on what tastes good. They may not like something that everybody else loves and on the shelf or gets on the shelf. But establishing trust and confidence and capability, demonstrating capability and how they can affect the bottom line or the category of that particular buyer, I think that's changed as well.
Do you see any trends emerging that will affect the marketplace going forward? Not just the retailer-buyers relationship, but the broader market, what might affect the consumer ultimately?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we've seen the, obviously what the consumer is doing in store is changing the relationships between buyers and sellers. And, and that's, I'm probably not as good at commenting on those trends as others in my business. I tend to focus on the relationship between the buyers and the sellers more, but we've certainly seen, a lot of, and felt a lot of differences around, what happens in store around safety, around cleanliness, and convenience, and even different product categories, becoming more of a focus. And then, it was all about sanitation and cleanliness and wellness and healthy, and less so about beauty. Now, seeing beauty is now kicking back up. I think as people have really wrestled with the wellness. I think wellness is going to be a trend that's going to persist. However, I don't think that's ever. I think that's achieved a new importance that's never going to subside. But we see things like beauty. We see pet growing. We see baby growing. We see at home office, at home learning, just a wide variety of things. And that's the other thing about RangeMe. RangeMe provides a bit of a look at the future, way that most other things don't, because we can see the new types of products that are being uploaded, the new types of suppliers. We see searches that the buyers are making, and the wisdom that those collectively generate. We see new certifications coming on board. Whatever it could be. I think we have 200 different certifications on RangeMe. So it definitely continues to evolve, and I think that's going to be the future. Is new products, new brands, new capabilities, and retailers using those and ever more to further differentiate themselves from their competitors and to satisfy their target consumer.
Well, you're certainly sitting a great place to watch that evolve, and we look forward to doing that along with you. So thank you for your time, Greg. This has been great.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.